Something that I've been noticing come up time and time again in the past few years is that anytime a woman is getting directed a ton of hate her way, it's predominantly other women directing that hate. And of course, it's important to have discussions about the ways that men sometimes harm women as well, but I really think we need to talk about woman-on-woman hate because this is an issue that has become so incredibly widespread. And I think it's gotten to a point where we need to hold ourselves accountable as women and to get a better understanding at what's underneath these behaviors because they seem very universal. So I looked at some of the research on this topic. I'm going to give you my own personal thoughts, and hopefully this video can help us stop falling for misogynistic PR spins as much as we do as women. Let's play a little game. What do the following women have in common? Amber Heard, Angelina Jolie, Olivia Wilde, Meghan Markle, Hailey Bieber, Meg Thee Stallion, and Blake Lively. If your answer was, all of these women are bitches and I hate them, congratulations! There's a very good chance that you are one of the people for whom misogynistic PR campaigns are the most effective. Many of these women found themselves in the line of fire after altercations with male celebrities in their lives. Amber Heard came under attack after accusing Johnny Depp of abuse. Angelina Jolie came under attack after accusing Brad Pitt of abuse. Olivia Wilde came under attack shortly after divorcing Jason Sudeikis and after experiencing a conflict with Shia LaBeouf. Meg Thee Stallion came under attack after she was allegedly shot by Tory Lanez. And Blake Lively came under attack after accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment. And every single one of these women was devalued in sharp contrast to the idealization of the men they were associated with. Olivia Wilde, for instance, very hated woman compared to how beloved her partner Harry Styles was. Hailey Bieber, detested woman compared to how beloved her husband Justin Bieber was. And not only were these women targeted by the same kind of PR campaign, a majority of them are actually suspected to have been targeted by the same exact PR company, allegedly. Now, before you say, no, hold up, these women are genuinely terrible people though, and I can list the ways in which I'm right, please consider this. If you viciously hate one out of these women, maybe even two. Let's say, you detest Angelina Jolie because you have infidelity marriage and you think she broke up Brad Pitt's marriage. Or you detest Blake Lively because she got married on a plantation. Okay, sure. But if you hate the majority of these women, make no mistake, you are being manipulated by the exact same playbook every time. But it's not completely these PR teams' fault. I think that these PR campaigns are frankly the closest thing to evil that there is out there. But their campaigns can only go as far as our hate for other women goes. We now have proof from subpoenaed text that the very people conducting these smear campaigns remarked how incredibly easy it was to push people into this narrative, how quick people were to hate on women. And I find it very interesting that in these cases where the public suddenly despises a woman they don't know, and the hate-worthy woman is almost always positioned in contrast to a beloved man. And I wondered, could it be that women are more likely to despise another woman when they see her as competition for a desired man? After all, every single one of the women that I mentioned was associated with a very beloved, conventionally attractive man, and they themselves are extremely beautiful women. Is it possible that these PR campaigns work so well on women because they tap into a deep-seated, primal instinct to tear down one's sexual competition? Yes, the answer is yes. Although I'm generally not a big proponent of evolutionary psychology theory, this is one of the areas where I actually do think it can provide some pretty interesting insight. According to Vaillancourt, women use indirect aggression as an intrasexual competition strategy when faced with an attractive rival. Indirect or relational aggression is when somebody is criticizing another person's appearance, spreading rumors about them, socially excluding them, getting other people to dislike them, divulging secrets about them, using derisive body language to make the other person feel self-conscious. So yeah, all the women commenting hateful things about female celebrities they've never met are participating in indirect aggression. This is in contrast with direct aggression, which is when you're directly confronting a person for something they've done to upset you, either through words or sometimes even physical violence. Men tend to commit the majority of direct aggression, whereas women have a slightly higher rate of indirect aggression. Indirect aggression is so effective because it allows people to maximize the amount of harm caused to the other person while keeping the personal danger to themselves at a minimum, because they can usually keep anonymous in these forms of aggression They don't have to worry about actual physical harm coming to them, that the other person's going to fight them, for instance. And what do you know? Women typically commit indirect aggression against other women, particularly when they have mating motives, and particularly when those other women are attractive and single. Attractiveness increased the odds of being indirectly aggressed by 35% for adolescent girls, while decreasing the odds by 25% for boys. So when girls are more attractive, they're more likely to be a victim of indirect aggression, whereas when boys are more attractive, they're less likely to be a victim. Attractiveness goes a longer way for men. For example, we know from studies that women routinely discriminate against female candidates in the work hiring process, especially more attractive candidates. Attractive women's apologies are less accepted by other women. And the author puts it quite simply: being physically attractive places females at risk of being indirectly victimized by other females. Why is this? Why do women commit so much indirect aggression against attractive rivals? It appears that women have a proclivity for using indirect aggression in the context of something called intrasexual competition, when they're competing for mates. When you're trying to attract a mate, you can take part in one of two mating strategies. The first is called self-promotion, which is when you're basically making yourself seem like a more attractive candidate, such as putting work into how you look. The second strategy is the derogation of rivals, meaning making your competitors seem less attractive. So indirect aggression, spreading hate about a woman who makes you feel sexually threatened, is a great way to derogate your rivals. Typically, women tend to say terrible things about a woman that they think men most care about. For instance, they'll often target that woman's looks and her sexual promiscuity, because they think that's what's going to dissuade men from sleeping with her. Now you might be thinking, but hold on, the women participating in these hate trains, they don't actually have access to these male celebrities. These are not these female celebrities' rivals. And that's exactly the issue with parasocial relationships. The public builds imaginary relationships with these celebrities. We hate certain people and we love certain people who literally don't know that we exist. Those male celebrities, they're not our potential mates, and those female celebrities, they're not our rivals. But because of parasocial relationships, our minds can't distinguish between a real relationship and an imaginary one. So we begin to see things that way. We see these male celebrities as potential mates, and we see these female celebrities as our sexual rivals. The author of the article I referenced argues that indirect aggression is an effective intrasexual competition strategy, and that's where I have to strongly disagree. Her first argument as to why it's effective is that adolescent girls who perpetrate indirect aggression tend to date at earlier ages than their victims. And to me, this is not proof that being aggressive towards your competition is an effective strategy. It's just proof of projection, right? If you are primarily spreading rumors about other girls being promiscuous, and yet you are objectively more promiscuous than them, then you are just projecting. It's not because you're doing something that natural selection has favored. Her second argument is that victims of indirect aggression have a whole host of adverse consequences as a result of being victimized, which is true, but again, I don't think that means indirect aggression is an effective intrasexual competition strategy, because I can honestly say I've never in my life watched a woman effectively dissuade a man from sleeping with another woman by being indirectly aggressive towards that woman. Sure, spreading rumors about that rival's promiscuity or ruining her reputation might make that man less likely to form a relationship with her, but if he finds her attractive, he's still gonna sleep with her. The only things that indirect aggression actually accomplishes are to hurt your rival and to make yourself look insecure and lacking. You're going after another woman's reputation because you feel like you can't possibly match her in other ways. You're attempting the derogation of rival strategy because the self-promotion strategy just isn't enough to get on the same level as her. And the research also supports that. Studies show that there's a link between body dissatisfaction and intrasexual competition in young women. For example, one study showed different groups of women one of these two photos, one of a cute Confederate dressed frumpy, and one of the same woman dressed more provocatively. And of course, the women who saw that same woman dressed more provocatively perceived her as bitchy. But even more interestingly, the women exposed to the provocative photo reported higher amounts of dissatisfaction with their own bodies, especially when an attractive man was present with them. Another study from 2017 found a positive relationship between intrasexual competition for mates and appearance-related comparisons on Instagram, meaning those who compare their bodies more with other women tend to be more competitive with other women for mates. So in other words, when insecure women are faced with an attractive rival, they instantly go through this mental process of comparison, and they feel bad about themselves, which makes them act out in aggressive ways. So going back to the issue of those celebrities I mentioned, the easiest way for a PR team to make women hate a female celebrity is to highlight that celebrity's proximity to an attractive male. Once you do that, insecure women will be foaming at the mouth to hate her. So if you start pushing articles that this woman is a bitch, that she was so unfair to this attractive man, the audience will just take it from there. They'll gobble that shit right up because they want any excuse to tear down a woman who they think has access to a man that they would want instead. For example, just take a look at this one headline: Angelina Jolie using the kids for publicity, Brad Pitt insider says. Now, if you're not aware, Angelina Jolie divorced Brad Pitt shortly after an airplane incident in which she accused him of abusing herself and the children, an incident which was investigated by the FBI and corroborated by her children. And this particular headline plays on the misogynistic stereotype that women are attention seekers who unfairly accuse men and weaponize their children for that purpose. And would you look at that? The author of this article is the sister of Melissa Nathan, Brad Pitt's PR agent. Small world, huh? We can hear the way the despised woman is juxtaposed with the beloved man, not only in these headlines, but also in the way the women themselves discuss these celebrities. Just listen to the way Kirsty Flaw, the celebrity interviewer who participated in Blake Lively's cancellation, juxtaposed her dislike for Blake Lively with her positive feelings towards Blake Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds.
So I have no sympathy towards any of these people that are involved. I don't know anything about them. I just know my personal experiences with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, who I've met several times, and I actually really like him. I think, the way he's been behaving towards me, he's been a nice guy.
And you also hear the same juxtaposition when she talks about how she loves Johnny Depp, contrasted with the way that she hates Amber Heard.
Also, the fact that I posted a video about Johnny Depp when he was in the middle of his legal battle with Amber Heard. The reason I posted the video with Johnny Depp was not because I was paid by the same PR company. It was because I like Johnny Depp. I have great experiences with him. I thought Amber Heard was lying in court, and I posted it to have sympathy with him and the fans that love him. And that was the only reason. As I said so many times here on my channel, I don't know anything about these people in their personal life.
Now, regardless what you think about Amber Heard or the trial as a whole, I want you to remember that Johnny Depp, the mild-mannered, docile man that women love to swoon over, is the same man who wrote this about Amber Heard, and this is court documented. "Let's drown her before we burn her." He wrote this to actor Paul Bettany in June 2013. "I will fuck her burnt corpse afterwards to make sure she's dead." He also joked around with his good buddy Marilyn Manson, who's been accused of grooming and sexual abuse, that Manson's accuser was acting like an Amber 2.0. And before any of you come at me with the whole "this is reactive abuse" bullshit, this is not what reactive abuse looks like. Reactive abuse means screaming when you're gaslighted for the 500th time. It means shoving someone out of the way who is blocking your exit. It means snapping at someone in a moment of anger after they have criticized you every single day of their life. It does not include fantasies of unaliving and essaying people. And if you think this is just buddies blowing off steam, you seriously need to be on some sort of list. I'm not even kidding. Regardless of what happened between Johnny Depp and Amber Heard behind closed doors, which none of us will ever know for sure, these are not the words of a person I want to support. So when I hear women demonizing these female celebrities and idealizing the male ones, it honestly just makes me feel secondhand embarrassment for them. Did you get picked yet? Did he pick you, girl? Do you finally feel more beautiful than Amber Heard now? Because all I hear when I see this type of behavior is, I'm insecure. I see myself as less than the women I'm committing indirect aggression towards. I'm looking at myself and I'm looking at that woman and I'm not so sure that I match up. You know what I think is going to be a good strategy to get the man I want? To tear down this woman. And like I said, I actually don't think that this is an effective strategy. No man has ever chosen a woman because she was relationally aggressive towards another woman. Brad Pitt isn't suddenly going to walk through your door and sweep you off your feet just because you agreed with his PR team's spin that Angelina Jolie was unfairly accusing him. Johnny Depp isn't going to slide in your DM just because you posted #JusticeForJohnnyDepp. Harry Styles isn't going to date you just because you wrote something hateful about Olivia Wilde online. Justin Bieber isn't going to divorce Hailey Bieber and marry you instead just because you commented something mean about her. But that's the thing, men like Johnny Depp and Brad Pitt don't have to actually lift a finger for these women to come to their defense. Like Kirsty Flaw herself admitted when she said she didn't receive any payment from Justin Baldoni's PR team. There are women out there who will do this work for free. I wish that this video could be more constructive and compassionate towards the women committing indirect aggression like this. But honestly, it's gotten to a point where I'm just extremely angry that this pattern keeps happening over and over and over again, and we as a society and we as women learn nothing from it. So okay, let me try. Tips if you are one of these women. The next time you feel a powerful emotion towards a female celebrity, slow down. Before you go tapping away on your keyboard, check in with your feelings. Take out a piece of paper and start journaling, and get really honest with yourself about the feelings of insecurity, body dissatisfaction, envy, or worthlessness that are being kicked up by this woman. And remember that you don't know her. You don't know this person. Dismantle your hatred before it makes you write something truly embarrassing. And if you can do that, and if you can come to a point of awareness about your feelings and understand before you actually take action what is going on internally, you're going to go through life so much happier. You're going to feel so alleviated that you don't feel these intense feelings of vitriol towards women that you've never met. That's the best I can do. That's the most constructive I can do on this topic. Let me know what you thought about this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you next time.